There we go.
A year? Quite a while. We've been boots on the ground, and it's just awesome. Here in Kelowna, we get these first-hand reports, and obviously you forgot to say something, so I'm going to give the mic back to you. Unless you just want to kiss
Maybe they have like the system shut down here so that you can't live
I
stream.
got an email from David Martin.
But it says that I have a live stream.
You know who David Martin is, right? He said, Ted, federal action will be happening shortly. Well, it's a good thing you remember to tell us that, Ted. You know, I love what Ted just said about individual rights versus collective rights. Do you guys know what that means? You see, you're each an individual. You're a man or you're a woman. Even if you do get a sex change, you're still just one of those two things, right? Okay? If you come together with other people, let's say in a freedom rally in Kelowna on a Saturday afternoon like we are here, now we're all forming a group of individuals. Your individual rights stay exactly the same in a lawful society. They don't change because you self-identify as a rally here in Kelowna, you know, or as a, what's it called, gay pride, or as a black group, or a Jewish group, or this particular church, or whatever. You know what I mean? See, a lot of our laws, like Ted was talking about, creeping in and that, are giving rights to groups. And that's completely false. You see, groups are something that we create. It's something that individuals agree to be a part of. You can't give a group rights because it doesn't actually exist. It's a cooperative thing. It's us coming together and saying, okay, now, right now, we're all this group of grounders here in Kelowna. That's what we are. Am I right on that? Okay? But you're still a man or you're still a woman. You still have all your God-given rights. They don't change because you're part of this group. This group doesn't have more rights than the people gathering across the street. And when we get it so that the law applies equally to everyone the same way, protecting your right to live and be and express your free will and contribute to society, it's sort of point that out because it's a really deep concept, individual versus collective. Frederick Baskey in the law explains it quite well, but just give it some thought, you guys, okay? Because once you really embody that, no one's going to have to convince you, and you'll be able to be that and speak and walk with confidence, knowing you have a right, a very honest right to be here and be who you are. Our next speaker comes to us from Vancouver. We're very happy to have her. She's been here before, but it's been a while. And I'm going to sing a song to introduce her. This song is about somebody, the name of this song is The Outlaw. And right now people would call us the outlaws, right? A lot of people are. Certainly our government is, and that's what's happening in Ottawa. But this man was an outlaw too. See, I know this man walks with me, and I know he walks with Tanya, and probably walks with many of you. One of the greatest teachers. Teaching about love. Love, the heart. The greatest commandment. Love thyself. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Some say he was an outlaw, that he roamed the land with a band of unschooled ruffians. He roamed fishermen. No one knew where he come from or exactly what he done. But they said it must be something that is affecting him on the run. Some say he was a poet. He stood upon a hill, and his voice could calm an angry crowd or make his way stand still. He spoke in many parables that few could understand, and the people came from miles around just to listen to his man. Some say he was a sorcerer, a man of mystery, and he could walk upon the water or make a blind man see. He conjured water at weddings, he did tricks to fish and bread, and he spoke Monkey is free. He was followed by the masses of society. He spoke out against corruption and vowed to no degree. And to lead his strength and power, so they nailed him to a tree. Some say he was the son of God, and he came to be a servant, to set us free from sin. That's who I believe he was, that's what I believe. That I was the son of God, just like you and me. That I was the son of God, just like you and me. Thank you. It's my pleasure to now introduce the founder. I think that is 2014. The founding of Action for Canada. Anybody ever heard of Action for Canada? They're doing some fantastic work. They notice it's a liability. And by the way, you can pick that stuff up over at that third tent every week. There's all kinds of information and resources there. Don't you guys stop in and talk to the ladies back there. We have an Action for Canada tent over there. They can help you. There's lots of help available to people if your rights are being violated, your elders' rights or your children's rights are being violated. There's things you can do, and there's people to teach you. It's all run by volunteers, and we're really grateful to have Tanya Ball with us today. Please join me. I love having her.
Hi everyone, thank you. I am so excited to be here. The crowd is increasing, and that means the awareness is increasing across Canada, and it's been very exciting to see. I hope you all know how I'm going to start and then you'll join me in this. Everywhere I go, I've got a meeting this morning, Priscilla and I were with the Unity community, and that's just awesome. But I'm going to thank God, join me, thank God and God alone for the ground that I'm standing on. And I never miss a moment. And I never miss a moment to see why that's important. Because there's many of you. How many are here for the first time today? Got some. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. When I was speaking this morning, and I just, like I said, I feel I need to talk about it quite frequently because the government has lied to us for a lot of years, and they've been trying to break down our democracy, and it's come incrementally, and now it's come suddenly. But the corruption's been going on for a long time. And in order to destroy democracy, you have to destroy the belief system from which it was built on. And that belief system happens to be built on Judeo-Christian principles, which were inherited through our British Commonwealth and form our laws and our values. They're embedded in the Magna Carta, and this is a system of governance that sets us apart from totalitarian, extremist, and communist regimes. Our system of governance gives you the ability to believe or not to believe and live in peace. Not to be faced with oppression, persecution, and even death. And because this is not over some, and I say, what are you talking about, Canada? We're a very diverse and multicultural nation. And the truth is, and this is where the lies and conditioning come in, that we're actually a bicultural nation. French and English, but we are a nation with many cultures, and we celebrate that. Then they wanted to say we're no longer a multicultural nation, but a secular nation. And I have repeatedly said secularism is one small step away from tyranny. And if you don't believe me, think about what Justin Trudeau said when he came into office, when he said we are a post-national state with no core identity. We cannot survive as a nation, no nation communism, with fascism. So my challenge to you is here today. What do you want to live under? What would you prefer? A nation built on democracy based on Judeo-Christian principles, or a nation built on communism? It's not a tough choice. This is what our battle, the battle that we are up against in Canada. This is not about health. It's not about COVID-19. This is about government corruption and a coup at the highest levels in Canada against
With the BC flag, yeah.
and those who are responsible for committing crimes against humanity and treason against their people are going to be held accountable. Next week when we're in power, this last week we had Vincent and Daniel Walford on. It was awesome. And next week we're having Philip Stewart, Scottish, and he is a retired military person. And he is taking action. While watching one of his videos, he brought awareness to a fellow by the name of Ruin Day. And this is where accountability comes in, and that everything that we are doing united as Canadians against the government in standing in our opposition to them is going to pay off. So we will not get away with this, and Bruno is the best example I can tell you right now. This is a man that committed war crimes against the Jewish people. He was a guard, an SS guard at a Nazi concentration camp. In July of 2020, he was found guilty of murder of over 5,200 people that were in those camps. He's 93 years old. He was 17 when the crimes that he committed happened. Now it may take time. I don't think Trudeau will be 93 when he is faced with his judgment. But I'm just saying that we are doing everything we can to collect information and evidence as citizens to hold each individual accountable. Nobody will ever be able to get away with saying, I was just following orders. Praise the Lord. So as you go back to Canada, has been an organization. I've been at this 6.5 years, so we were ready for this, more so than a lot of organizations. And so we got actively involved in equipping Canadians to try to give them the ability to protect themselves and their families. Many of you know the notices of liability. We started with the non-consent form a year ago. I think it was March for children. And the non-consent was all things COVID in the classroom, but especially at that time was the mask. Shortly after that, they started saying vaccination for children aged 12 to 17 years old without parental consent. That happened at the end of April. So we created a notice of liability against the vaccination. Then we did one for employees to serve employers. Then one against elected officials, then one against the COVID testing, and then so on against the unions, and then in November against the media. And so what I want to encourage you on, a lot of people said, oh, can you, the notice of liability, they're not working, they're not effective. Then why is the government, the media, and the union talking about them? Why is it that RNA Insurance in Alberta, who I didn't go with, a nasty letter about Action for Canada, the mandatory letter, stating that I was somehow involved with the agreement on the land and sovereign society. Those are individuals or groups like ours that don't believe we have a constitution and to hold up the criminal code. I very much am fighting in favor of those things. So I looked up RNA Insurance, and what do you know? They provide insurance for municipalities, which means all of our chapters across Alberta who have been serving the mayors and city councils, all of a sudden RNA Insurance was a little bit concerned about where their funding was going to end up in providing legal support for the mayors and city councils. That's a good thing. We have helped the line in BC with the school board trustees. We have 27 out of 27 school boards who have voted no to mandating vaccination for school staff. in this fight against the school boards, but in this fight really is and corrupt coordinating. Jennifer Whiteside so far hasn't decided to get involved in this fight because she's named as a defendant in our statement of claim. So she's kept pretty quiet. January 17th, Barney Henry put a ridiculous order out. Just, I keep saying that make you guys go crazy because it's just so nonsensical what she does. And anyway, doing this order, because she can't get ahead of what Action for Canada is doing, is successfully we're having with the school board trustees, letting them know, look, you are going to be held personally liable because this is extortion, it's intimidation, it's coercion, it's illegal and it's a criminal offense, and we're coming after you personally. And we're finding ways to do that in working together with David Lindsay to relay private information. So we have a lot of individuals who have had experienced great hardships, whether employees or parents with their children, and there are many of them across Canada, because this is not a campaign just here in BC, who are gathering this information and beginning to lay private information. Now I know the government is listening to everything that we're saying, and they figure they'll probably get ahead of us. But I can tell you, we're not going down without a fight. We're not going to lose.
Because it was illegal activity when they actually released the COVID, it was done
And as David had mentioned earlier, that we have a tremendous win
I'd like to
for a
table
mother
some legislation.
who has received from the ruling from the court that she has to say what happens to her children regarding the vaccine.
PCR pandemic.
For many parents. I've been dealing with
Yes.
parents who a father in Manitoba and one in Ontario who I didn't find out in time enough to exist, and
My
in court,
YouTube
the
name
judges
is
were ruling
pandemic.
in favor of the parent who's going to vaccinate. I tell you, talk about an underground church, I'd be an underground parent and finding ways to make sure that my kids did not have their heads above the ground until we were able to protect
we
them
live at the same
from
address.
this
Can I
illegal
just put
stuff.
Yes,
the...
you can, as long as they can verify.
Now we've got the PCR testing,
Yeah, you
the rapid
bet.
testing. I hope that you all, I'm sure that you've heard about, right?
voice count.
Which they're recalling, which there's evidence. CDC, if CDC is reporting on it, my goodness, you know, there's got to be a problem, and I'm sure it's more than 50 reports. Anyway, just on that, I want to know our fight with this whole thing regarding the school trustees isn't over.
Hey, you bet.
And we're going to keep pursuing this. We've got a campaign to make sure that Bonnie Henry's order, where she now says that the local health officer can decide whether or not
Thanks for doing that.
I got a card. Put you down there.
and whether or not
Thank
Go
you.
get a coffee.
access school staff's personal private information for the community.
No, because I drank so many.
But guess who they have to get that information from again? The school board trustees. So nothing has changed for them as far as liability is concerned. And Kevin Cardell, I don't know what his deal is, but this man is going to have a lot to answer for one day. Because he's been warned, he's been told, we've got proof. We've had individuals, I was talking to Ron earlier, we've had a conversation with him. This man will never be able to say he didn't know, and we've got a record of that. And at some point, there's going to be individual staff who are willing to take action against him. It's all a matter of time. Be patient. We've not lost anything. We are advancing. The notices of liability as well, I want to tell you
I was
another
going to
good
try to
news
guess
story.
at how many
In
people,
the city of
because you can see
Surrey,
how
the
small
school-
a
sorry, the
cluster of
city
10
manager
is.
and the assistant fire chief
I brought
in
my
November
drone, so I might be able to try to
memo out
fly it
to
out.
the staff stating that they had to be
in the
vaccinated
grass.
by
Yeah, in the
January
grass
4th.
for sure.
And that if not, they'd be put on unpaid leave. Well, I dealt with the city and served them last March. And then again, when I make the elected officials notice of liability. So their lawyers got in touch with me, it was around June or July, and they said, we're nothing to see here, we're doing nothing wrong. We're not pushing the vaccine. And I was like, okay, good, just remember that. So there's a lot of pressure must have built by November for the city manager, he must have pulled the short stick, to be able to turn around and now send this letter out. So I made it public, I took it as a PDF, put it on the website, I took the one from the assistant fire chief as well, and I made all of this public. And I wrote them a letter saying that they were going to be held personally liable, and all the reasons why. It's a kindly letter, it's an informative letter, that's what we're here to do, is to educate them. Now, it may come across harsh, but that's not my problem. This is the harsh reality. If you go in or rob a bank, you're going to be arrested if you committed a crime. If you're going to extort and intimidate your staff into taking an experimental
Why?
injection
Did you bring yours?
that is evidence that it is causing incredible harm, including death, you're going to be held liable. You want to know about that? Right? You're welcome. And so January 3rd, my contact in the city, who I know very well, ends up sending me another inter-office memo, and they have removed the word mandatory vaccination, almost skipping over like, oh, you need to get your vaccination, and they have removed the threat to put people on unpaid leave. Now, they did include the testing, and I'll be writing them again because I wrote them at the very end of January. So, by the way, good news, thank you. I commend you for the decision that you've made. However, mandating the testing is an indictable offense. You may want to consider this, and I expect you to do it fairly quickly. And so now, of course, this new information will go to these individuals, and we'll continue to educate and press in on them, and help them determine what is the greatest threat here. Personal liability that could, in reality, I could end up in jail one day for my actions. Or is the threat to government saying you may be the next one to lose your job if you don't comply? Right? Canadians are not ones to gamble. And that's why they've been wearing masks for 2 years. Because they don't want to go into a store because somebody may have something to say to them about they don't want confrontation. I'll just wear a mask. That's the barometer for the government to see who's going along with this scam. And that's why we appealed so strongly for 2 years, don't wear the mask. And please wake up, right?
Freedom!
So there's great progress being made, and I want to be able to come out and say, those are just a few, and I don't know if one other one that's just humongous is that the Scott Lowe, who's
We went to the Lord Pill this morning. I didn't wear a mask, and I was like, oh, there's one in his door that I could use in case. And then I looked at him, and he wasn't wearing one going into the store. I'm like, fuck it. He's not wearing one. And they didn't care.
Scott Lowe, that you have confirmed you received a notice of liability, and that will serve as evidence, when the time comes. And I make light of this, but it is extremely seriously egregious crimes against humanity that are being unfolded. And we do need to document, and we do need to listen, and we do need to try to mobilize as many Canadians as possible. And that's what Action for Canada is attempting to do at all levels. Recently, we've also launched a youth freedom movement. A week ago, we had young people come on to the Empower Hour on Wednesday night, and we're going to start giving them a spot, we hope, on every Empower Hour, where they can either give a 5-minute update or do something. How is this affecting you? They need to have a voice. This has been devastating for them. Anyways, for the adults, we need to fight hard for them. They are our future, they are key, and that's why the government is trying for years to indoctrinate them into this trans LGBTQ agenda that comes from the UN. Understand when I talk about this, I am not a racist, and I am not unloving, and this is not about diversity and inclusion when they talk about the trans LGBTQ agenda. They have an LGBTQ czar at the UN. Who's behind this? The gay and lesbian platform has been sabotaged by this evil group who are trying to use what they're doing, because anytime they're victimizing somebody, they have a vicious plan. That vicious plan is to teach our kids in the school that they can be a boy, girl, neither, or anything in between. Now we have a 1,000% increase of young girls, the majority, who are coming home and saying, I'm no longer a girl, I'm a boy. Now what's happening is the government, including the Conservative Party, voted in favor of Bill C-4, which says now when your 7-year-old comes home and has been indoctrinated into this unscientific garbage, that their parent is obliged to take them to a dysphoria clinic only.
Boo!
They cannot go for a pastor. They cannot get to the bottom of why they missed the either. The other one is with the indigenous community. The government is trying to victimize them in order to take your land and property away. Tell me one thing positive that the government has done in favor of the indigenous people that was actually tangible that helped them in his 6.5 years in office. Nothing. The global Sustainable Development Goals, the name of it is escaping me right now. Trudeau signed it in 2018. And what it says is that in that agreement, they want to take away our borders, they want to take away our resources. That's why they've been attacking Alberta for years.
The Sustainability Development is the UN Agenda 21, it's called.
Because these men could not provide for their families.
That's the one the website disappeared when I tried to reopen it.
They don't mind taking the oil from Russia, Saudi Arabia, and the rest of it, but don't you dare preach on the oil in Canada. We've got to think critically. All of this was coming far before COVID. What COVID did, as they were taking away our freedoms of speech through these other legislation that they were passing, what COVID did was catapult communism into Canada. Because they needed the majority of the people financially reliant on the government. We could say it's been brilliant, but they've overplayed their card. They're exposing their corruption daily. And I love it with Justin Trudeau. When this Emergency Act was implemented, I turned to my team and anybody that was showing up and I said, this changes nothing for us. He can go ahead and put an Emergency Act in place because the preamble to the Emergency Act says, in the preamble, it states that our charter rights and bill of rights are not to be limited or abridged even in a national emergency. Period.
Supersedes it.
Okay? So don't fear whatever steps are coming. Fear is of the enemy. It is not something that we can embrace because we are right, we're on the winning side, and we are going to win this fight. So I just want to thank you for your time and say God bless you and God bless Canada. All right, Tanya Dawn, ladies and gentlemen. Doing some great work. We just like to wrapping up here. I'm going to give you one more song, and then David's going to come up and we're going to do our mega round march. Escort by the police, as David mentioned before. And I want to reiterate something Tanya said. You know we're not racist. I mean, just in general, people are not racist. I think she's absolutely correct that these ideas have been imposed on us. It's not natural. It doesn't actually exist. So let's not buy into it. Let's just ignore it. Let's not get all excited about it. And let's just keep treating each other as the family of everybody that we are. All right? All right, the song is for the truckers. They've inspired the world. They've inspired us. And according to Ted Cook said that this is Mercy. They got something special up their sleeve that's coming next weekend. So we're looking forward to that. We got a long way to go. 5 days to get there. And if we unite, we are free. From the east
go grab the drone, I guess. Grab the drone. It's in the car, yeah. You would have gone to get it. Uh-oh, the fucking bikers, like, gave support. Uh-oh. Now we're gonna hear about the Hells Angels support, the fucking chats.
Just because they were driving by, anywho. Good choice on your hat. It's backwards.
I wanted it backwards, because I'm not a gospeler. Yeah, oh, okay. You'll film me trying not to break it?